Hey, how's it going guys? Ricky Summer here, and today I've come back in time to reignite the season of frames. Today we're going to check out Khora, but first, a message from our sponsor.
Reflash. Flash away to a better life.
Alright, new year, new frame, boys. Let's actually go. So, we've got a few frames in the hopper at the moment. The season of frames doesn't end. What do I know about Khora? Like, nothing. Absolutely, literally nothing. I don't know how she plays. I don't know what her themes are. So, let's start by reading a description. Tenno and Beast. Red in whip and claw. Khora and her covered companion, Venari, embody lethal versatility. 2 bodies. 1 will. Oh, she's got a pet? I didn't anticipate that. Okay, maybe a little bit of a predator-hunter frame. Very arousing if true. Let's jump into the abilities. Alright, let's start with her passive. The ferocious covered Venari fights by Khora's side and provides her with a 15% speed boost while active. If killed, Venari will reappear after 45 seconds. Interesting. I wonder if we'll be able to customize the covert. Yo, like either mod-wise or at least cosmetically. Like, I'm surely we'll be able to fashion it. Now you got my attention. But what happens if you have a hound? Or like, you know, do they double? Maybe they double up. Surely they double up. Okay, I'm pogging now, I'm pogging. We need to get back into the game here. Let's have a look at the first ability. Whip Claw. Send enemies reeling with a deafening whip crack. Okay, so it's like a stun? I think, yeah, okay. It seems pretty simple. I like simple abilities. I don't know how old Khora is. She might be a bit of an older frame. Because like, I think, anecdotally speaking, I think the newer frames tend to have a lot more going on. Like the ability descriptions are pretty thick. Okay, interesting. So yeah, range, radius, damage, does damage. It seems like it's a stun. Cool. Next ability. Ensnare. Bind a hapless target in living metal, entangling others who stray too close. It spreads? Whip Claw will refresh the trap, allowing it to capture more enemies. Okay, that's really interesting. So we like plant this seed of trappage, and then if we Whip Claw, it'll spread, right? So if we do that in large groups, that could be really interesting. Yeah, okay, I actually really like that idea. I mean, you guys know me, I like abilities that spread, and we get to control the spread too. Plus that adds a little more functionality to Whip Claw, which seems to be a pretty simplistic ability on the surface of it as it stands. So, alright, very cool. I'm excited to try it out. Venari. Command Venari to focus on a target. Hold to cycle between attack, protect, and heal postures. If Venari is killed, use this ability to revive her instantly. Right, so she's out just by default. Right, so she's always out, and we use the 3 to cycle between postures, I guess, or modes, whatever you want to call it, and to target enemies. So tap to tell her to attack and hold to cycle between postures. And she can heal as well, and then we use that ability if she dies, but she'll come back automatically after 45 seconds. If I understood that correctly, that's what the passive does. That's really interesting, man. That's really interesting. I wonder if there's a meta to, like, do you leave her on like one mode, you know? One posture, attack, protect, heal. Very cool. Like, it could get a little bit mind floody if you're like, quick, I need to heal. Hold. But I guess we'll see. I can always, you know, reverse the controls too, so it's tap to cycle and hold to attack. I like this, man. This is a little bit interesting. This is a little bit different to a lot of other frames I've played. Alright, last ability. Strangle Dome. Weave a dome of living chain that ensnares and strangles any enemy within, and any foolish enough to approach. Foes outside the trap will try to hasten their comrades' deaths by shooting them. Crack Whip Claw on the dome to further damage any trapped enemies. What? That's incredible. Like, obviously it's just, I guess it marks them as an enemy, marks them as a target, so the AI will kill them. But just the flavor of them putting them out of their misery is incredibly cool. like sadistic and like dark as hell, but I love that. Okay, so like I've seen this ability used heaps of times. Obviously, it's big on like defense objectives and whatnot. Maybe you pop it down in choke points. Plus, it's like a crowd control, not just for those trapped within, but if you're causing enemies outside to, like you're adjusting their AI to turn on their brothers. It's a crowd control for them too. That's pretty cool, man. I'm into this. All right, let's have a look at some tips. Enemies bound by Ensnare are dealt more damage from Whip Claw and Venari attacks, right? So Venari does more damage to them too. That's very cool. Cast Whip Claw on an enemy trapped in Strangledome to hit all held enemies at the same time. Right, so like it counts as just hitting one attack, does damage to all of them? I mean, that's going to be so much easier to just cause some chaos. I'm down for it. Cast Strangledome on defense objectives to protect them from approaching enemies. Yeah, of course, that's what I've seen a lot in the past. Venari tail whips enemies in a protect posture to knock them down and disarm them. Ah, that's cool. So it's actually she uses different abilities. It's not just an aggro range adjustment. She will actually use different abilities. That's really, really quite nice. Command Venari to stay in place by marking her while she's in her heal posture. Okay, that's quite specific, but very cool that we have that type of, granular control over our pet. Command Venari in her heal posture to revitalize Khora by casting the ability while enemies are not in the reticle. Okay, yeah, so it seems like most of the meat and micromanagement is going to be surrounding Venari. So I guess like we can just like point up to the ceiling or down to the ground just to make sure no one's in our reticle to get some heals. Very cool, very cool. Venari snares a target temporarily in her attack posture. Choose a new target for Venari to snare by casting the ability on an enemy. Right, okay, so I'm guessing just the tap to attack, tap to target is that snare. Venari's heal posture can heal defense objectives when marked. No way. I wonder if we can heal allies as well. I mean, surely we can. That would stand to reason. If we can heal the defense objective, surely we can heal allies as well. Venari grants Khora a permanent buff to her movement speed, which scales with ability strength. Yeah. Sanic go fast. Okay. So we might be dealing with big strength strats here, but we'll look more at that when we get to modding. Khora can have both Venari and another companion with her in a mission. That's what I was asking before. Okay, yeah, of course. That's great. You'll love to see it. Whip Claw's damage scales based on mods from Khora's equipped melee weapon and her melee combo counter. Okay, I mean, that's always cool. I mean, that adds an extra layer of something else you got to think about and more stuff you got to swap out and whatnot. But that's cool that you got that sort of control. I like that. Khora can cast up to 2 Strangledomes. Simple, but classy. You'll love to see it. Yo, pretty interesting. So I have a feeling that Khora is probably an older frame based on the way her abilities are written, but I'm here for it. It wasn't quite what I was expecting. Like, I knew about the Strangledome, of course. Okay, let's do some modding. All right, so straight off the bat, let's throw physique on there, I think. We haven't really got many other options. So she's big on armor and kind of not much else. So at least for the sake of ranking up, we'll be survivable. Beyond that, I think we're definitely going to want strength. So let's throw Intensify on there. A healthy bump of damage across the board, except for Ensnare, of course, because that doesn't do any damage on its own, huh? That's fine. That's cool. Now, speaking of Ensnare, I feel like Stretch is going to be a strat here, just so that we can affect more individuals and hopefully spread more with it, right? Like, surely Strangledome, we want it as big as possible, right? It affects everyone within it, everyone on the edge, and then it affects the AI of those outside of it. So the bigger it is, the better. We either get more... Well, I mean, across the board, we're just going to affect more individuals, so surely. We might even want to go kitchen sink with this and just up the duration as well. Oh, it looks like Strangledome is only... it only lasts for 5 seconds by default. Wow, okay. I'll be interested to see what its duration is once we're fully maxed out. I'm going to throw Streamline on there for the sake of leveling up. I can't put Prime Continuity on there as it currently stands, but I can put regular continuity. And then we're maxed out. I think that's probably going to be a strat here. I think that's what we're going to go with. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This will... Look, listen. Let's fashion her. Hang on, let's peep some of the skins first. Grax? Yeah. Look, I gotta be honest, I'm usually big tier. I'm like a very huge fan of the Grax skins. This is probably one of my lesser favorite ones, but interesting nevertheless. Oh man, is that like a deluxe or something? That's intricate as hell. That's quite interesting. Anyway, let's peep some animations. You know, that's a fairly solid one. Ooh, a little bit of the noble. This is a little bit anime, so we're gonna go with the bog standard agile set here, if no one disagrees. You know how this goes. We're gonna go for that dark perp straight off the bat down the middle. Yeah, she's definitely coming across like an older frame to me, just in terms of the textures. So let's go off-white on this. Question is, how off of a white do we want to go, you know? And see, then this is the awkward thing here. Like, what material is even that, you know? It kind of looks a little bit metallic, but also not. It almost looks like stone too. So I don't feel right about golding it. Although that doesn't look too bad. Yo, maybe we off-white that. Actually, yo. You kind of, you know what? Now it looks a little bit like bone. I can deal with that. Okay, all right. And then, of course, you know, we go the heavy pink for the rest of the situation here. Yeah, look, I'm not too sure about this one. This is the thing. With some of the older frames, I think it's really, really difficult to fashion them. D has done an incredible job with newer frames just to make them really easy to customize, and they look good with most of what you could possibly do to them. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Let's take her out of the stable. Let's see how she plays. Dude, I'm so ready. Look at this. We got a hound. We got a carve art friend. Oh, I didn't even peep at the... Hang on. Does the cover just... Sorry, like, I'm not even using the abilities. I just want to peep the cover. Where is she? Is she the same color as us? We got to double check the fashion on that one. All right, let's try the first ability. Oh, just big slaps? All right, that's not bad. That feels pretty heavy. Like, it feels like it packs a punch. Slide into the piece here. Okay. Get a bunch of individuals. Yeah, just bunch up for me, baby. You know it. You know you love it. It's good. I like this. Imagine being whipped to death. You'll love to see it. I know some individuals who would find that very arousing. All right, second ability. This is the one I really want to try out. I love the idea of the spread. So let's slap that down. Pulling them in. Oh, the bunch up though. All right, let's try it on these lords. Peep it, peep it. They're all just getting pulled in. Oh, yes. I'd love to test out the interplay between the 2 and the 1. But I fear that I'm just going to kill him. Yeah. You know what? This would be really good for choke points too. The range isn't bad either. Just rope them up and get ready to go, baby. Let's actually go. Okay, we've unlocked the 3. You ready for this? There you go. Slide. Oh! She binds them up?
Another life support capsule.
Okay. That's very interesting. Yo, I like how she's jumping around. And she's just going to keep... Is that the strat? Because she's in attack mode, she's just going to keep ensnaring? That seems to be the case. I wasn't even necessarily targeting anyone. All right, let's change postures here. So what are we... We're in protect mode. Oh, it's the tail whip, right? Okay, I really like the attack mode. I mean, what do they say? The best defense is a good offense. What about... Actually, you know what? I'm low on health. So please get over here and heal my ass. That's quick. That's pretty quick, guys. All right, hang on. What if I just hang out here? We need to test this out. What if I hang out? What if I take some damage, but we're leaving her on heal? Yeah, like that's pretty good. I can tank just from her heals.
The operative has just made their first discovery.
All right, I need life support, man. All right, we've unlocked Strangle Dome. You boys ready? Let's go. Slap it down. Right in the choke point. Pulls them in. All right, there's no one left. Let's pop it down again. Okay, we've got some lords in there, and they're shooting them. They're taking them out. Your dad's here to cheer us on. Yo, it wouldn't be a first time playing video without father here to help us out. Strangle some lords. Alright, so it seems that it was a little bit perhaps exaggerated how far away the enemies can be before they start pulling them in. What I mean is like the radius around it was showing in the little preview image on the ability that maybe it pulls people in from further away, but doesn't seem to do that. So they've got to be very firmly within it. And then, yeah, the guys on the edge will shoot the lords in the middle. I mean, worst case scenario, that's an excellent crowd control ability. Like, obviously it does appreciable damage, which is great. Let's pop it down again. I've completely missed the mark. Alright, let's pop it down here. Pull them in. And I want to try slapping them. Okay, I feel like we're going to have to pull in a lot more individuals to really test that interplay between the 4 and the 1. But yeah, okay, I'm here for it. Yeah, okay, very interesting. I was most surprised by how survivable we were up until like somewhere in the middle of the 15 to 20 minute mark. Then it got a little bit hairy. Venari like heals like an absolute champ, and I would be really tempted to keep her on healing. Something I did notice was she does die a lot, which is unfortunate. I don't think it uses energy to actually switch between the postures, but if she's dead, you gotta re-res her, you gotta respawn her before you can then change to heal or whatever. So that gets a little bit finicky, and I wonder if, well, look, there you go. We can indeed mod her. So we'll have a look at that in a very hot second. We'll have a look at Khora's augments as well. I was also surprised how much damage Whipclaw does. Like, for real, man. Like, it's the big ticket item. I feel like the strat is very much find even just a small group of boys, ensnare, whip the shit out of them. Like, it's one hit, man. They're gone. That 2-to-1 situation is big tier in and of itself, with then Venari backing you up. Now, I'd love to hear from you guys with how micromanaging you get with Venari, whether you just keep her on one posture or you're always switching when needed. I'm not too sure how useful Protect is, but Attack is absolutely, it seems useful, and Heal for sure is. Like, I'm poked out of my gourd at how much healing she does. Anyway, with that, let's have a look at her mods. Okay, so what do we got here? I mean, there's a lot of like Covart-esque mods that we have sprinkled around. Like, is it the tech assault? Yeah, the tech stuff. I wonder if that counts. Like, surely it would, because she is a Covart. Anyway, let's have a look at the stuff that I got ranked up. Health. You know what? Actually, I think that's huge tier because she has been dying a lot. Companion Gather. I feel like this stuff is unnecessary because that's covered by our Hound, by the other companion. Heals your pet by a percentage of the damage you deal with melee attacks. I mean, this would be huge, right? Because, like, the 1 counts as a melee, surely. Considering that it uses your melee mods, surely that counts as melee. So I'm going to throw that on there. We'll see how we go with that. I wonder if we go ham on Hunter mods. Hang on. Let's just, for the sake of argument here, let's just peep some stuff here. Hunter Recovery, which is lifesteal, more lifesteal. I feel like I'll go look into that. Hold on. This mod applies a percentage of the total critical chance on the player's primary weapon and applies it to their Kubro or Covart. Right. So if we're running around with Kuvachakul, for example, big crit, we're going to add crit to the Covart. I like that, man. Okay, like I feel like I'm going to need the most help with modding Venari. Or Venari? Venari. I'm going to say Venari. Venari sounds so much better. And that's like, Latin rules, man. Latin rules. Let's have a look at augments. Alright, accumulating Whipclaw. Whipclaw augment. Hitting 3 enemies will grant a 35% stacking damage bonus to subsequent Whipclaws. Bonus will decay after 10 seconds, right? So it's like its own separate combo multiplier, sort of. That's kind of interesting. Do I use it enough to warrant that? Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, I think that would be pretty huge tier. All right, yeah, very interesting. When do you get these? Steel Meridian. That could be a problem. I'll have to double check my rep. Venari Bodyguard. Venari Augment. Venari dies in Khora's place. Respawn timer increased to 150 seconds. Killing enemies decreases the timer by 4 seconds. Okay, up until the point where it said decreases the timer by 4 seconds, I was going to be like, that's pretty cool, but probably won't take it just because, like, if you're dying enough that that's a problem, there's probably other issues you need to deal with, right? But the fact that we can shorten the timer, like revenge killing, that's actually very cool. Again, I kind of doubt that this is meta, but this is the kind of stuff that piques my interest. This kind of stuff makes me go like, oh, fucking yo. I love, pet interactions, automation sort of stuff, just playing around with the mechanics, corrupting them, switching shit up. I love it. That's a very interesting ability. Pilfering Strangledome. Here we go. Strangledome Augment. Enemies held in Strangledome have a 65% chance of dropping additional loot. Can you imagine just going nuts in defense with this thing? I love it. I actually love all these augments. These are really good. Pilfering Strangledome. Like, I feel like that would be for a very specific build. You might not necessarily take it as your default Khora build, but if you're doing specifically defense stuff, I think, yeah, Pilfering Strangledome would be huge. I really like Venari Bodyguard, and Accumulating Whipclaw. It just seems huge across the board. All right, so we've got to slide into the piece here with a little bit of fashion on the cover. Man, I don't know. Let's natural. Let's stay natural there. There's different skins. No, there is only the one skin. So we're just like changing the fur color. It's preset. You know, a little bit disappointing. It would have been nice if we could just like go nuts, choose our own colors. Ooh, actually, hold on. I've been corrupted by you guys. Remember at the start of this Warframe journey, I'm like, I'm not big into the gold, and now I'm like, I need the gold. Give me the gold. Stick with that red because I think that's just a big mood right there. That's a big vibe, as the kids say. Okay, look, I was hoping for a little more mustard vis-a-vis. Oh, yo, look at that tail though. Okay, that's very cool. Really interesting frame. I cannot wait to rank her up and just see what we can get out of her. Cause like we're teetering on the edge of some very interesting stuff. I just love to see if we can get more damage out of her, if we can sustain damage. I mean, my perception is people like Khora, so I have to imagine there's some strats there. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. All right, let's do the time jump. We'll rank her up. I'm ready. All right, welcome back to Warframe. So interesting discourse with Khora today in the stream. Not too many surprises, with the exception of the fact that people don't seem to respect Venari, which I was a little bit sad to see. I asked, yo guys, how do you use Venari? You know, do you swip a lot? Do you swap modes a lot, or do you just pick one and stick with it? And everyone's like, yo, the way you use Venari is you subsume the ability out. And that made me incredibly sad. And I was like, yo, guys, it's not how we do things here. We don't subsume before the first time playing video. Get with the program. So then everyone was just like, yo, put her on heal and that's it. And that kind of makes me sad because we don't get, varied use out of her. But on the other hand, it is a hell of a lot easier to use. We don't have to micromanage. Let me just put down another individual here. Yeah, I feel like where we currently sit, the Kink Dome, whatever it's called, is much more usable than it was. That's good. Look at the size of this thing. Beautiful. You'll love to see it. Yeah, so we've got like 100 adrenaline, I think is what we have. So we're getting energy back by taking damage and then getting healed by Venari. And, we almost never die as long as you don't make stupid mistakes. So that's a nice interaction. And it's, like I said, it's easy, if not super engaging, but that's fine. I can deal with that. We still got a pet. We're using a pet. I can still call myself a pet class, feel like I'm doing something there, and that's beautiful. Look at this, though. I love this. Look at, they just slowly get pulled in. And now they no longer exist. You hate to see it. Unless... So otherwise, I had a little bit of trouble figuring out Strangledome, insofar as I wasn't really seeing much in the way of individuals outside the dome getting pulled into it. And that we eventually figured out that was because it needed to be ranked up. There's this very specific way that the ranges change. At max rank, the draw-in distance is twice the actual size of the dome. But before max rank, it's like minuscule. It's like 1 meter more. So it's you start off at the base level, it's 5 and then 6 dragon. But then it ends up being 5. The 5 range, like the size of the dome is 5 meters. And the dragon is 10. So it gets a lot more usable once it's max ranked. But up to that point, it's like, hang on, how does this work? Like, it was kind of really difficult to pass exactly how it was meant to work out in the end. Don't you take my Tenno envoy, buddy. That is mine, pal. That is mine. Otherwise, it seems the strat is to use the 2 to pull individuals into your dome, which, you know, I'm totally happy with. Oh, look at them get tracked. It's so uncomfortable, but I'm here for it. And apparently you just need to, like, smack inside the dome. You don't even have to, like, hit or target anyone specifically, apparently, to actually do damage to everyone. So that's kind of nice. Otherwise, what more needs to be said? Well, there's the one, you know, but we'll talk about that more with modding and loadout, because we got to sort out the whole stat stick thing there. So let's head on over back to the orbiter. Alright, so let's talk about the aforementioned stat stick. So, of course, her 1 Whip Claw takes its damage and status and stuff. You can mod it essentially by modding your melee weapon. So it was suggested by chat that I use Sancti Magister. Now, I'm not too sure about that insofar as my Sancti Magister isn't really that good, and maybe I could pick a weapon that has greater capacity and that would serve me better. But this is what was recommended. So I've got Pressure Point, Organ Shatter, Blood Rush, Gladiator Might, so just, you know, a little bit of crit here and there. And I guess, like, it seems to work fine, but I'm certain that I could do a lot better than this. Sliding on over to Khora herself, and it was look, many things were strongly recommended. One of which was, I mean, people just really, really wanted me to sub-zoom. Look, so Strangle Dome. We ultimately want the augment for that, for the sake of getting energy back. Now, the workaround for that, because I can't get it yet, because I have horrible rep with Steel Meridian, unfortunately. And actually, you know what? If I sacrifice a Nesha Prime part, I can actually rank up with Red Veil rather, and get the augment I needed. But look, that was a whole thing. Go watch the stream VOD if you want to experience that nonsense. It was a glorious little tidbit. I do recommend. But look, we're throwing Hunter Adrenaline on there, I guess, as a stopgap. So like I said, we're going to be healed constantly by Venari, and we're going to take damage, which will be converted into energy. So it makes the whole energy situation a lot more manageable. Now, interestingly enough, it was recommended to me that I replace damage, like I don't worry about strength, about adding ability strength, which is absolutely wild to me. In strength's stead, radius was preferable because it increases the radius of the Strangle Dome, which is apparently going to be our bread and butter. So as you can see, standard radius is 5 meters and the grab radius is 10. That like gave me a lot of trouble initially, like I said. Just the fact that I'm like, hang on, is it a linear scale or is it a exponential scale? What's going on? They're like, look, it'll just change completely. Your whole worldview will change once you get to max rank. And that's true. And that's weird, but that's true. That's how it works. So now we're currently at 8.75 meter radius, and the grab radius is 17.5 meters, which, you know, you love to see it. It's quite a situation there. That's much more usable. Like, Strangle Dome is actually, it's kind of not great at all until you get to max rank. But that's fine. We're at max rank now, and it's not a problem. The duration actually jumped up hugely. We didn't last very long at all initially, but now we're in a good spot. So that's sort of it. That's like the bread and butter right there. I'm kind of not really using Ensnare that much anyway, now that Strangle Dome is doing its job, which is a little sad. I really quite like Ensnare. I don't know, maybe use it on smaller groups, or like chat suggested, you use it to bring people into the dome. With the dome having a grab radius of 17.5 meters, I feel like I need that less. But look, hey, listen, it's fine, baby. Radius 17.5, yeah, like, you know, guys, it is what it is. I feel like the whole like this is almost non-consequential. Actually, can we throw like, just for the sake of completeness, can we do that, please? Give me something, man. Now it's your turn. You let me know in the comments below the like button. What do you think of Khora? Let me hear from the Khora mains out there. I need to know. What do you use for your melee weapon? Give me your tips, your tricks, your anecdotes. And for the moment, I'm gonna go slip into a bathtub full of ice because it is very warm over here today. Be excellent to each other, and I'll see you next time. Ricky Summer out.